Welcome. Today we are going on a really cool journey. We're going to follow a circuit board design as it goes from just a file on a computer all the way to becoming the physical, pulsing heart of an electronic device.
Have you ever really looked at a complex circuit board with that maze of green and copper lines and just thought, how in the world is this actually made? How does something that starts as an idea on a screen become this super precise functional object? Well, that is exactly what we are going to unpack today. So here's our roadmap for this little factory tour. We're going to start with the digital blueprint, then move on to creating the inner and outer layers of the board. After that, we'll see how they're all drilled and connected. Then we'll add the protective skins, and finally, wrap it all up with inspection and testing. Let's get into it. All right, first things first. Every single board out there starts its life not as a physical thing, but as a set of digital files. And this is probably the most critical handoff from the designer to the manufacturer. Everything has to be absolutely perfect right from the get-go. Now, the language that lets a designer's vision talk to the factory's machines is a set of files called Gerbers. You can just think of them as the architectural blueprints for the circuit board. Every single layer, every drill hole, every connection, it's all defined right here. And this is so important because any error in these files will be perfectly copied onto the final board. So yeah, getting this right is kind of step zero for quality. Okay, so with our instructions in hand, we turn to the raw materials. The foundation, the very skeleton of the board, is a rigid insulating fiberglass core called FR4. It's what gives the board its strength. And laminated onto this core is this thin, shiny layer of conductive copper foil. This right here, this is our blank canvas. Let's dive into our first big fabrication stage. See, for any board that has more than just a top and bottom layer, we first have to create the internal circuitry. These are the hidden electrical highways that are going to live deep inside the finished board. So how do we do that? Well, the process is actually a little bit like old-school film photography. First, the whole copper surface gets coated with a light-sensitive film. We call it photoresist. Then, a mask, which is basically a negative of our circuit design, is laid on top, and the whole thing gets blasted with UV light. Now, wherever the light shines through, the resist hardens. Then we just wash the board, and only the hardened resist is left, perfectly protecting the copper that's about to become our circuit. And this diagram just illustrates that transfer perfectly. You can see the UV light passing through the clear parts of the mask, hardening that photoresist right underneath. This creates a flawless, high-resolution stencil of our circuit, which is absolutely key for making those incredibly fine traces you see in modern electronics. So next up is the etching bath. The board is dipped into a chemical solution that literally just eats away all the copper that isn't protected by that hardened resist. When it comes out, all that's left are those precise copper highways we designed. Now, controlling this step is crucial. If you etch too little, you could get shorts between traces that'll just kill the device. But if you etch too much, the traces get too thin and fragile, and that can lead to all sorts of weird failures later on. Okay, so at this point, we have our separate, isolated internal layers. They're kind of like different floors of a building, but with no stairs or elevator. To make a functional three-dimensional circuit, they need to be stacked, bonded together, and, most importantly, connected. The lamination process is, well, it's basically a high-tech panini press. Seriously, the etched inner layers are stacked up with layers of something called prepreg, which is just fiberglass cloth soaked in epoxy resin. This whole stack gets put under intense heat and pressure, which melts the resin and fuses all the layers into a single, solid, multi-layered board. But this brings us to a really big engineering challenge, right? We've just built a solid board with these isolated copper layers trapped inside. So how on earth do you create an electrical connection that goes vertically right through that insulating fiberglass? The answer is this really clever two-step process. First, super fast, computer-controlled drills create these incredibly precise holes, called vias, exactly where we need connections. But remember, a hole is just an empty space. The real magic is in step 2, copper plating. The board is submerged in a chemical bath, and an electrical current is used to deposit a thin, even layer of copper onto the inner walls of that hole, turning it from an empty space into a conductive electrical pathway. Let's take a closer look at this cross-section because it really shows the whole thing. You start with a simple copper-clad board. Then, like in step 1, you drill the hole. But look at steps 3 through 8. This shows the complex process of precking the hole and then using a second photoresist pattern to plate copper only where we need it, inside the hole and on the surrounding pads. Finally, after etching away all the extra copper, you're left with what you see in step 11, a perfect plated-through hole connecting the top and bottom layers. We've just built our electrical staircase. Now that the inside of the board is all connected up, it's time to create the external circuitry. You know, the top and bottom layers where all the components are eventually going to be soldered on.
And hey, good news. We already know how this works. It's the exact same process we used for the inner layers. We apply the photoresist, expose it to UV light through a pattern, develop it, and then etch away all the unwanted copper. We're just repeating that same dance, but on the outside surfaces of our now solid board.
So the copper traces are now totally complete, forming our full circuit. But they're really fragile and totally exposed. To make this board durable and, actually usable, we need to add 2 final layers, 2 protective and informative skins. And those 2 layers are the solder mask and the silkscreen. The solder mask is that iconic green coating you see on most boards. It protects the copper traces from oxidizing, and, this is a big one, it prevents accidental solder bridges between tiny pins during assembly. Then you have the silkscreen. That's the ink layer printed on top that gives you all the component labels and markings that tell us where everything is supposed to go. Now, what's really amazing here is the incredible precision involved. The solder mask has to cover all of these tiny little traces while leaving the component pads perfectly exposed for soldering. If this mask is off by even a fraction of a millimeter, it could cover up a pad, making it impossible to solder a component on, and that would render the entire board useless. And the silkscreen? It is definitely not just for looks. It's a crucial roadmap for anyone building or trying to debug the board. Labels like C2 for a capacitor or R1 for a resistor tell you exactly what goes where. I mean, without it, trying to assemble one of these would just be a total nightmare. It's really the human interface for our electronic blueprint.
Okay, we are on the home stretch. The board looks finished, right? But before it can ever be shipped, it has to pass its final exams. We have to be absolutely sure that all our hard work actually resulted in a perfectly functional circuit.
So first, the individual boards are cut out from the larger manufacturing panel they were made in. Then, and this is key, every single one of them goes through automated electrical testing. A machine with dozens of tiny probes, sometimes called a bed of nails, touches down on all the pads and checks every single connection. It's basically looking for 2 things: accidental shorts where things are connected that shouldn't be, and broken connections, or opens. Only a board that passes this 100% check gets to move on. And there it is. This is the result of that entire journey. It went from a digital file to a multi-layered, drilled, plated, protected, and fully tested board. It's now ready to be populated with components and become the brains of a brand new electronic device. So we followed every step, from a simple blueprint to a complex 3-dimensional circuit. It's this incredible process of adding and subtracting, of chemistry and mechanics, all working together to bring a design to life. Now that you've seen how it's done, what will you build?